When Medusa opened to the public back in 1999, this looping roller coaster caught the attention of the coaster community by delivering us a new, unique style of trains. B&M created trains with no floors, so passengers are now suspended above the track. It's a gimmicky feature for sure, but still a good one. The concept made its way over to their dive coasters, which is actually a great fit for the design. Well, now that it's been 20 years, Medusa has undergone some changes, basically being rethemed to Bizarro. Let's see how well the ride holds up. Presentation. Back in 2008, Six Flags thought it would be a good idea to retheme this floorless coaster to Bizarro, the alter ego of Superman. The ride was painted a purple and blue color, and some additional theming were placed around the ride. In Six Flags fashion, Bizarro features a fire effect during the dive loop inversion. Majority of the theming is experienced during the end of the ride. There's some fake cutout buildings that the ride plows through, and this weird electrical pole, I guess, that the track wraps around during the interlocking corkscrews. Well, now that it's 2019, the track is starting to show its age and is in need of a new paint job. Personally, the whole DC theming on this ride is out of place. The coaster is at the far end of the park, so maybe it's time to drop the Bizarro theme and give it something that goes with a whole adventure feel. A great feature of this ride is its location. At the top of the lift hill, you get to peek into the safari, maybe spot a couple animals roaming. The ride feels isolated from the rest of the park, another reason why to get rid of the Bizarro theme and go back to something a little more traditional. Ride presentation gets a score of 7. Ride intensity. Bizarro features 7 inversions, which in today's standards with B&M loopers is rather typical. Fortunately, many of the inversions are forceful and exciting. The bottom of the first drop going into the giant vertical loop has some good forces, plus there's a neat head chopper moment around this section as you maneuver around the brake run track. The 0G roll is a great inversion, and though I'm not a fan of Cobra rolls, I thought the one on Bizarro is well executed. The second half after the mid-course brake run is the weaker portion of the ride, but that helix before the corkscrews can deliver some solid G-forces. My personal place to sit on a B&M floorless coaster would be up in the front row, but I can't discount the good whip you can experience if you sit in the back. Overall, Bizarro can pack a punch, but doesn't really excel beyond other looping coasters by B&M. Intensity gets a score of 8. Fun factor. If there is one thing B&M always delivers on, is creating a solid ride experience. Bizarro is a fun looping coaster that does what it was built for. The added theming, though a little cheesy, does add something to the ride. Feeling the heat hitting your face during that dive loop is a nice added jolt to get your blood pumping. The first half of the ride is well paced, sending you into an inversion right after another. Bizarro is good in its own merits, but because the ride doesn't take any risks, it's not a top-tiered attraction. Bizarro gets a score of 7 for the fun factor. Originality. As previously stated, Bizarro sticks to the typical B&M looper formula, so if you're looking for originality, you will not find any here. The pattern of inversions featured on this ride is almost right out of the playbook, starting off with a loop, dive loop, 0G roll, Cobra roll, and ending with the interlocking corkscrews. Back when this roller coaster opened, it was the first floorless roller coaster, which was its claim to fame. Now, floorless roller coasters are everywhere, and even the staple for dive machines. Since I judged the ride's originality off of when it opened, I can give this coaster some points for being a floorless, but even back then the layout was very typical, aping off of Kumba and Dragon Con. Ride originality gets a score of 5. Ride smoothness. After operating for 20 years, Bizarro is still pretty smooth. Recalling off of my last ride, I didn't experience any rattle, just a little head banging during the corkscrews. As long as Six Flags keeps this coaster in good shape, I don't see why Bizarro can't keep delivering smooth rides. Beyond the little headbang during the corkscrews, and maybe during the Cobra roll, I'd give this a score of 9 for ride smoothness. Okay, the final score comes to 7.2, which is a decent score. Bizarro won't blow you away. It accomplishes what it set out to do, and that's to create a fun looping roller coaster. It's a shame that the ride layout is rather unoriginal and has been hashed out many times with various iterations. I know when this roller coaster first opened, everyone was going nuts over the floorless trains, but now that we have multiple floorless coasters floating around, it starts to lose its shine. My personal score is going to be a 7. Without reiterating what I've already said multiple times now, Bizarro is a good coaster, not a great one. As long as you're not expecting a life-altering experience, Bizarro will suit you fine. I really hope Six Flags decides to give this roller coaster a new paint job, and maybe even change up the theming so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb in the back of the park. Well, thank you for watching today's review. Let me know what you think of Bizarro in the comments below. Go check out some of my other reviews and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content coming your way by XscreamThrills.